All right. I think I did it. Let me know if you can hear me. Still no sound? What? Now that is interesting. Still no sound. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm saying something now. Now I'm saying something, but now I'm getting feedback. Oh my gosh, this is so weird, y'all. Like I do this every week. And okay, perfect. I do this every week and it's like acting all crazy and I'm getting let me just mute this. All right. You can hear me. Okay, last time, sound check, sound check, sound check. If you heard me say sound check, sound check, sound check, just say yes. Say yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay. So, for some reason, I was on my second screen. Um, anyhow, long story short, let me hurry up because I have held you up long enough. I'm just super excited. I finally have sound. So, this is the thing. I do this every week. I'm like, what's happening now? I do this every week. Why is it like acting all crazy now? But whatever. Let's get this party started. If you are live with me today, happy Friday. If you're watching the replay, then it probably won't be a Friday. But thank you for hanging in there with me and thank you for sticking with me as I work through my technical difficulties with the volume and sound. It looks like I'm going to figure this out because the last time I was trying to use better headphones. Um, and that messed it up. And this time, same thing. So I have to figure out what I'm doing where there's sound in other places and not on Instagram. I want to make sure that on Instagram Live, I'm taking care of you all because that's where I hang out the most. So I'm like, other people can hear, y'all can't. Let me get this thing together. All right. So here we go. Hello, hello. Let's start officially. Quick fixes, easy self care strategies for busy professionals. Now, I want to try one more thing before I start officially. So hang on with me. Hang on, hang on. I feel like I know what I'm doing now. So let me try this. One more thing. I am blaming everything on this MacBook update. Like, note to self, never do an update like right before a stream. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, let me do this update and everything will be better. Apparently that's not the case. All right, but can y'all hear me? Oh my goodness. All right. I think this is it. Last check. I should have like left that thing alone. It was perfect. And here we go. Okay, good. You can hear me now. Whew. All right. So this is the thing. I always take full responsibility, but that wasn't me, y'all. It was my MacBook update. I promise. Like I do this all the time. Let's get started. I'm going to stop yelling and give you all these quick fixes and love you and leave you. So, welcome officially. Everybody can hear me. I am on. This has been so interesting. Um, Maybe I was in too much of a hurry, and that's okay. When I went to Zanzibar a few weeks ago, actually in Dar es Salaam and in Zanzibar, there was a saying, pole pole. And when I first arrived, so I pride myself on being super relaxed, all that. When I first arrived and I was getting settled into the Airbnb and everything, the first thing one of the men told me was like, he's like, pole 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 pole, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm smiling because I hadn't studied all of my words yet. Whenever I travel, I like to learn at least 10 words in the country. Okay, long story short, pole pole is a colloquialism for slowing down, like relax, slow down, take it easy, it's going to be okay, like chill. And so I find that when I'm trying to move too quickly, when I'm trying to rush through things, um, I probably need to remind myself of pole pole. So let's get going. It's just a reminder, slow down, ease through, do it right the first time. Here we go. Get out your paper and pencil because we're going to run through this. Dear self care, I hope you can forgive me for the prolonged silence and neglect. It's been far too easy to push you aside in the whirlwind of deadlines, meetings, and ambitious goals. I've often viewed you as a luxury, a selfish indulgence, when in reality, you are anything but that. I've skipped prioritizing rest, repeatedly neglected the power of saying no, ignored setting necessary boundaries, and failed to stick to my promises to myself. These omissions have taken their toll, yet ironically, I blamed it on the lack of time rather than my mismanagement. But today, I'm ready to make amends. I recognize the vitality and clarity you bring into my life, and I'm committed to nurturing our relationship once again. I will start small, perhaps with a quiet morning ritual or a regular screen free evening, and gradually build from there. I know these modest steps may seem insignificant, but they are the foundation for more profound change. I promise to treat you as a priority, not an afterthought, because I understand now that taking care of myself is the only way I can truly succeed. Thank you for being patient with me. Here's to a refreshed commitment to self care. Warm regards, the busy executive. So, what is self care? Before I get into that, let me reintroduce myself because I feel like while I was introducing myself, the sound was off. I'm Dr. RJ, licensed clinical psychologist. I help busy executives eliminate stress, anxiety, and burnout so that they can live their best, balanced lives. Um, I do that in a myriad of ways through therapy, through teaching, through coaching, through speaking, through writing books, all the things. And also through doing what we're doing today, and that's just mainly spending some time together. I want to make sure that I can reach as many people as possible because we can no longer play around with our self care. So, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your patience. And I am grateful to be able to spend this time with you. Our time is valuable, y'all. And so having you here with me is everything. What is self care? Self care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well being and happiness, particularly during periods of stress. So I want you to note that like self care is not just about bubble baths and relaxing, it's to be used especially during periods of stress. It involves making intentional choices that prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental health. Remember, self care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So often when we think about self care, we forget about the physical health part, right? Physical health, emotional health, mental health, they all go together to create wellness. You can't leave just one out. Oh, here we go. So this is what I do. I help busy executives optimize their mental health so that they can eliminate excessive stress and maximize time so that they can actually love the lives they worked so hard to build. I remember when I first became a clinical psychologist, actually my first role as a clinical director, I was like, I made it. Like I'm here. I did all the things I was supposed to do. I went straight through. I made good grades. I got into graduate school. I matched on my first try. I did all the things, got to the top, and hated my life. I'm like, is this what I worked so hard for? And it was because I was stressed and burned out. This was about 14 years ago when I realized this. And so now I'm in front of you today, completely transformed and reformed so that I can help you do the same thing. So let's jump right into the strategy. If you're taking notes, this is where you want to make sure you're taking your notes. We're going to talk about three quick strategies to improve your self care. First is time blocking. Second is the 2-minute rule. And the third is learn to say no. If you follow me on Instagram or on social media, you'll see that I often talk about saying no. It's one of the hardest things, one of the most difficult things that we encounter for a variety of reasons. And so I will keep talking about it until we're comfortable with it and we're all setting life changing boundaries. So, time blocking. This is the first quick self care tip for busy professionals. What is time blocking? You've probably heard about this in the workplace or when you're speaking of time management. But when we're talking about time blocking as it relates to self care, I want you to think of your self care as a job, as an obligation to yourself. So, in your calendar, if there is no time blocked for self care, I want you to pull your calendar out right now, every day for 30 minutes, somewhere in your schedule, gray it out, make yourself unavailable to everyone else so that you can have time for self care. We should be using our calendars so that our brains can get a break and we're not trying to memorize everything. I find that a lot of busy executives pride themselves on memorizing, right? You're super smart. You're like, oh, I can remember that. But what you're doing is you're taking up precious real estate in your brain that could be used for innovation and higher level thinking. You want to put this lower level thinking and these tiny tasks. You want to put them in an automation. The easiest way to do that is a calendar. So, this is what I'd like you to do for time blocking. I want you, again, pull out your calendars every day for at least 30 minutes, gray out an area that's just for you. So schedule your self-care activities by blocking specific times in your calendar. You want to treat these blocks as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. If you want to write something down, write that. This is a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. This ensures that you dedicate time to recharge. Non-negotiable is the key word. So again, you want to time block self-care as if it were a meeting, and an important meeting, not one of those meetings where you're multitasking here and there and not really paying attention. One of the good meetings. So put it in your calendar, time block it as if it were a meeting. And you might be asking, well, Dr. RJ, what am I going to do with this time, this 30 minutes to myself? Whatever you want. You can walk, you can meditate, you can read, you can stare at the wall. Like whatever it is you want to do, you want to have every single day where you are prioritizing a minimum of 30 minutes. All right. Let's move on to the next one. 2-minute rule. So I love this one. For any task that takes 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This reduces your mental workload and frees up time for more significant self-care activities. Now, for me, I use 5 minutes. That's a little bit more advanced. So we're going to start with the 2-minute rule. So what can you do in 2 minutes? Now, I'll tell you this. Time is a tricky thing. So when you think about 2 minutes, it may go fast unless you're like on the treadmill or the elliptical or doing mountain climbers or something like, or at the dentist, or all these things. Like 2 minutes can be a really long time. And so don't brush past it so quickly and say, oh, it's just 2 minutes. How can I get anything done? Let me give you some examples of things you can do in 2 minutes, 120 seconds. You can respond to quick emails, right? A lot of times we'll look at emails, we get annoyed and we're like, oh, I'll do that later. However, if you just knock it out right then and there in 2 minutes, it can be off of your to-do list. You can tidy up your desk. You can just pause to take a few breaths. And these actions, these quick actions can alleviate stress and create space for more meaningful self-care. So your homework, number 2 that you're supposed to do, I want you to work on finding things that you can do within 2 minutes, right? You'd be surprised how much you can get done in 2 minutes. It's kind of like cleaning up before company comes, and it may take you an hour before, but right before your guests come, you can do it in 10 minutes. Same thing in 2 minutes. Instead of scrolling social media or, entertaining yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to be productive, right? Use those 2 minutes to knock something out. I do not like to end my day with a lot of stuff on my to-do list. Like, I want it clear. And so I try to knock out as many things as possible then and there. I was working with a client yesterday who works in law, in corporate law, and she's an executive, and we were just going through things, and she's like, "Oh, I'll do this later." And I'm like, "Nope, let's do it right now. It's going to take less than 2 minutes. Pull out your calendar, go ahead and do that right now." And I also encouraged her to slow people down around her and just say, you know what, this is just going to take 2 minutes. Let's knock this out. Instead of ending the day with a long list of 2-minute things that have piled up, which can add up to like an hour. All right. So you want to commit to consistently taking small actions, 2 minutes at a time. I'm telling you, it works. And at the end of the day, you'll be so relieved that you don't have all of these, that you're not tyrannized by tiny tasks at the end of your day. All right, so 2 minutes, you want to knock it out. Learn to say no. I feel like I can do a whole masterclass on this, and I may do that. So if y'all want to talk more about learning to say no, just DM me and be like, yep, I want to learn about more about learning to say no. Obviously, this is something I'm interested in. I know the benefit as a clinical psychologist. I understand the value, the break that it gives your brain. And I want to share more about this. So if you are interested, let me know. All right. Let's just do a quick one today, though. So I would like you to evaluate non-essential commitments and practice saying no to those that don't add value to your life or work balance. This empowers you to prioritize what truly matters. All right. So let that sink in. This is how you do it. Before agreeing to a new project or social event, consider if it aligns with your goals and values. Politely decline if it doesn't. What do I mean by that? Well, I value rest and balance and order. And if I look at my calendar and it's filled every weekend, then I have to say no to some things. Doesn't mean I don't like the person or I don't want to do it. It just means that it does not align with the word that I said I would keep to myself, which is having balance and rest, right? So it's okay to say no. And let me tell you what bothers me about people who say yes to everything. And if it's you, it's all right. You can change today. Generally, when people say yes to everything, at one point or another, they're aggravated and they don't give you their all. Right. So it's kind of like, oh, I'll tell this quick story. When we were growing up, my mom would have all the groceries in her hand and she'd be coming in a house with like 10 bags. And so we go out to help. Can we help you? No, you should have met me at the car. I got it now. And then she comes in huffing and puffing with all the groceries. And I'm like, I mean, you could have just asked for help instead of now you're going to complain about it for like 45 minutes. And I'm laughing because we talk about this all the time. It happens in real life. It happens at work. It happens with the busy executives. It happens with parents. And so you want to practice just not doing things that you don't want to do. Let yourself be vulnerable enough to ask for help. I understand that it can feel like rejection when you ask for something and someone says no. But I challenge you to reframe your thoughts, not that they're rejecting you, but that they are unable to show up as their best version of themselves or offer their best version. So they have to say no. I know in my case, if I say no to something, it's because I can't truly give my best during that time. And I like to show up like, I like to show up and show out. So I'm not going to just say yes to things that I don't want to do or where I can't show up as the best version of myself. If you're just joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about 3 quick self-care tips for busy professionals. The first is time blocking. The second is practicing the 2-minute rule. And the third is learn to say no. So I have a bonus for you. If we're talking about self-care, your number 4 or your bonus would be to seek support and build a network. Every high performer should have access to a therapist, but not just any therapist. I want to pause right here and talk about other common challenges and solutions. So if we're talking about overworking, right? Often when you have these common challenges and solutions, you think you can read self-help books and work your way through it, or if you're having issues with boundaries or balance. But what I'll tell you is a lot of these issues and things that we struggle with are because of underlying reasons. There's a reason you don't want to say no. There's a reason that you keep letting people walk all over you. There's a reason that you are isolated, right? And usually there's something underlying, and the therapist is the best the best person to walk you through that. So if you've been to my master classes before, you've heard me tell this story. It's a significant story because it touches on the fact that we are not meant to do things alone. Even if you're super talented and you can do a lot of things, it doesn't mean that you don't need help or assistance. Everyone who is successful, who has accomplished amazing things, they have a team, right? They have people who help them along. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. It doesn't happen solo. I've been talking a lot about Simone Biles, and she's been so open about her therapist and how she's been able to perform because of relaxation. A lot of athletes have a team, and not just athletes, but if we're talking about like our billionaires, they have teams. They're not just doing things and trying to figure out things all on their own. So I'll tell this story really quick. My daughter and I went on a school trip to Peru, and Machu Picchu was one of the sites. And so, if you know me, you know that I like to be super prepared. Like, I read the books, I watch the YouTubes, I take the notes. Like, I like to be super prepared. And so, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm super prepared for this. I know what's going to happen. We're good to go. So, I had my layers of clothes, I had my sneakers with ankle support, I had my hat to protect me from the sun, and my rain jacket if the weather changed, my fanny pack for the essentials, comfortable clothes, all the things. And so when we arrived, each group had a guide to guide us on this day-long trip through Machu Picchu. And although I was super prepared, I still wasn't as prepared as I could have been because it was unfamiliar. And our guide shared things with us that we would not have known about the landscape. So don't go to the left because there is a pack of alpacas there. You don't want to disturb them. Don't go to the right because I don't know, there are some insects that you may walk into one of their nests. Don't, go too far up to the left or down to the right. And so as prepared as I was not familiar with the landscape because I had not done it before. And as a therapist who works with executives, who works with high performers and busy professionals, I've seen thousands and thousands of different scenarios. And so it's easier for me to help people who I work with navigate their various landscapes. Often it can feel like you're alone, and you're the only one going through this, but I guarantee this lack of self care, these problems with boundaries, overcommitting, lack of prioritizing yourself are common themes with fairly easy answers. I call them easy because I work with them every day. Obviously, they may not be easy to you. This is my zone of genius. So you basically have two options at this point. You can continue to be exhausted, unfulfilled, stressed out, and feeling like you worked hard. However, you still don't love your life. Or you can delegate the issue to someone who has actually mastered teaching thousands of executives the art of balance and who's the best at the world at it. So let's make this quick and easy. You can schedule a complimentary strategy call right now. Just go to helpmelovemylife.com. I've opened up some spots for you all over the next couple of days. My schedule stays filled up, and I'm like, nope, I want to open up some additional slots even during times I wouldn't normally get on calls, to make sure that those who want to just brainstorm about where they are, what's going on, have a free strategy call, are able to do so. So here's how I can help. On the call, we'll help you get total clarity about exactly what you want your life to look like and the exact steps you should take to achieve your goals. If you want us to help you and if it's a good fit, we may invite you to become one of the new clients we take on this month, especially to help you with these self-care issues, this overcommitment, this burnout that is happening. The sessions are designed to optimize your mental health, increase true productivity. So you're doing, not just doing the things, you're doing the right things. You're doing the things that move the needles, and they help you master work-life balance. If we work together, we'll expect you to prioritize your mental health, see increased productivity, eliminate burnout, and have improved relationships. And finally, actually love the life that you've worked so hard to build. Just go to helpmelovemylife.com. Yes, this is for anyone who wants to actually enjoy their life and not feel like they're always burning the candle at both ends. This call that we're together, this free strategy call where we're just talking and helping you get on the right right path will take about 30 to 60 minutes. It's the most valuable 30 to 60 minutes you can invest in yourself this year. So what to do next? Just go to helpmelovemylife.com, select your date and time for your free strategy call. There are limited spots. I'm not just saying that just to say it, right? Because I see clients full time and I do speaking and training and all the things. But again, I wanted to make sure I opened up some slots to have free strategy calls and to get you all on the right path. I forgot to give out my free gift earlier. Back in May during Mental Health Month, I created a guide for busy professionals, a mental health guide. Mental health should be included in everything. We know that health is wealth. And so if you like that guide, just text Be Well to 833-451-4258. Just text Be Well to 833-451-4258. That's it. I told you I would fly through it. It would be done. I appreciate you hanging on with me, hanging in there with me so I could share these self-care tips. And let me give you another bonus. So if your issue is lack of prioritization, when you use these self-care tips, they are super easy. They'll put you on the right path, and you can use these tools personally and professionally so that you can prioritize yourself. If you prioritize yourself, everything else falls in line. Self-care is essential for sustaining productivity, creativity, and overall health. By incorporating these practical tips into your routine, you can achieve a healthier work-life balance and thrive both personally and professionally. Thank you for joining this self-care masterclass. Take a moment to reflect on how you can implement these strategies in your own life. And remember, prioritizing yourself is the key to unlocking your full potential. All right. I'll see y'all next time.